Hello everyone and welcome. This is Trumpetman with 40 Card College doing a premiere draft today of Brothers War. So we open up our pack here. Hercule's Final Meditation is our rare. A little bit too expensive to actually really do anything. Bouncing everything is nice, but not for 10 mana. So if we look at, I think, the best cards in the pack, we have Gurgling Anointer, definitely an all-star powerhouse, works with the Draw 2 theme, brings back things. Overall, just a very powerful card. Third Path Iconoclast, super powerful build around. It is 2 colors, so if I was going to start with Gurgling Anointer or Third Path Iconoclast, I think I would start with the Anointer. I think they're also similar power levels. Chromatic Star is definitely a great role player in terms of these trinkety artifacts that make your deck work. So I think those are the best 3 cards. I think the best common in the pack is probably Thraxodemon. I'm not a huge fan of Thopter Architect, though it can do some work in green-white. We're going to go with the Gurgling Anointer, see if we can get some combos with it. You don't need too much to go off with it, but obviously it's really great in blue-black. It's decent in other places too. Okay, so if we look at this pack, way better pack, way more powerful cards. There's like 10 playables in this pack. Platinum Angel is a card that is good, but it's kind of hard to, like, at the end of the day, it's kind of a 7-mana 4/4 flyer. Obviously your opponent has to answer it, and so it's a little different than some 4/4 flyers, but not that much different. Like, Platinum Angel is probably on par with like a 5-mana artifact creature that is a 4/4 flyer. That being said, I might just take it because it's colorless. It is powerful. If you do get Swiftfoot Boots, that's a pretty unbeatable combo. I think Overwhelming Remorse is probably the next best pick. The only reason I'm going to take Platinum Angel is because it's colorless. I think if it was like pack 2 and we knew we were black, I would take Overwhelming Remorse over it. But I like the flexibility of staying colorless here. Alright. What do we have this pack? Again, a lot worse, closer to our first pack. I don't think Psychosis Crawler is great. If it just sits in play over time, it can hurt your opponent pretty nicely with that life loss it adds up. That being said, not really interested in it here. This pack has a bunch of sort of even power levels, so those are some of the toughest picks to make. We do have the Anointer, which means we could hedge black here. I think Killzone Acrobat combos pretty well in all the black decks because it's a free sacrifice outlet, and oftentimes that's something you're actively looking for. I think really this is one of those ones where, like, depending on what color you were to start, you just kind of, it reinforces your plan. Because I could see taking like Conscripted Infantry or one of the white cards if we were already there. But I'm just going to take that. I'm not going to pay too much attention to taking the Acrobat there, though. In the sense that, like, it's not necessarily the reason to be in black. So I could give these couple cards up pretty easily if I start to see huge signals. Like, for example, Giant Cindermaw and Audacity are definitely, you know, higher power level cards than the Killzone Acrobat overall. So we might want to keep that in mind. There's also Epic Confrontation, so it's possible green is open. I am going to take the Ichor Wellspring. It leaves me the most open, and also combos really well with the Killzone Acrobat and the Anointer, so it's kind of just the perfect glue card to stitch our deck together. So pretty happy about that. If it weren't here, I don't know what I would take it if it weren't here. I probably would take a Giant Cindermaw and note that the green cards were open, just because I think going red to pair with the black is a great way to go. Okay, so there's really 2 options if we look at this next. Well, there's actually 3 options. The options I think that are reasonable are Energy Refractor. It lets us splash more things, combos with the Anointer. Koilos Rock, which can help us turbo out a Platinum Angel and let us play more of the blue-black draw 2 plan. Or Sibling Rivalry, which combos with the Killzone Acrobat. I think because red looked open in the last pack, I'm willing to take the Sibling Rivalry and hope it works out. Energy Refractor is a card that I think is quite good, but I think it's a little bit early to take that, and I already have a 2-drop do nothing artifact here, so I think I would rather take the combo card, which is going to be more impactful. Also, I don't have any removal yet, so having Sibling Rivalry to combo for some removal, I think, really adds a different dimension to our deck. There's the Sardian Cliff Stomper. So maybe red is pretty open. The problem with the Cliff Stomper is it doesn't really go with the rest of our cards. There's another Epic Confrontation, so that's an option, but I could also just take Springleaf Drum. If I get enough cheap things, the drum's actually quite good and lets us splash. It's either that or Epic Confrontation, but Epic Confrontation is really not great in green-black, because you're already slow to the gate, so you might not have the creatures to actually power it out. Alright, so here, Argothian Sprite is a sign that green is pretty open. But I really like Gix's Caress. I think that card's excellent. Tomacool Scrapsmith. I think this is a card that might get better as people understand the format more and take more of the artifacts more highly. I already kind of like it, but we're not quite there yet on our deck. I'm going to take Gix's Caress. I think it just works really well. Gives you the Power Stone and red-black to sacrifice for value. Note that the Koilos Rock is there as well, but that was a pretty good pickup. Ooh, Audacity as well. Goring Warplow, not a great card, but is fine in the sense that we need 2-drops. Notably, Military Discipline is a card that has a really high win rate right now, and I'm wondering, is it actively that good, or are people just not playing around the tricks correctly at this point? And that's something I'm not sure about. I'm going to take this. We are mostly mono black. But if I end up in a second color that's not red, it's likely we're going to be in black-green. Wing Commando is a little late here too, though it's not really a black-blue card. Okay, so interestingly, I could take Mine Worker, which is just like fills in the 2-drop slot, or I could take Conscripted Infantry, which would be a little better with our deck, but it's also a 3-drop, and we have a lot of 3s right now. There's also an argument for Recommission, but it's not something I'm super interested in. I think I'm just going to take the 2-drop, because then that at least gives us like 3 things to do on turn 2. Ooh, pretty late Airlift Chaplain. We could go that route. But I also think Bitter Reunion's quite good. So I think I'm going to take that. Just filters nicely. Okay, so if I were in white-black, which would I prefer? I think I would prefer the Great Desert Prospector over the Thopter Architect. Could also take Philology Excavation. I don't really think that's where we're at, though. Like, if we end up in green-black, I don't think we're going to be super artifact-heavy. So I just want to think, like, if we're hedging here... Ooh, this Wield. I'll take another Killzone Acrobat. Notably, a lot of good white cards in the pack, too, though. It is a Soldier. That's a pretty good combo with the Aeronaut Cavalry. I had never actually thought about white-black soldiers. Aeronaut Cavalry is a nice one. Okay, we have a lot of good 3s. I think I'm going to take Recommission over Takacia's Dig Site, in case we end up in white-black. Alright. So, interesting pack 1. We know that we're in black, but we don't know our other color. Sky Strike Officer is very strong. Do we have any combos with Sword of the Meek? Combos with Goring Warplow. We could sacrifice it for value and then bring it back. It's between the 2 rares. Blue looks semi-open. I could just take Sky Strike Officer. We also have 2 other soldiers. It's obviously fine on its own. And maybe we could splash it. We also have Springleaf Drum already. So maybe we should just be like black splashing Sky Strike Officer. I think the card is just too strong of a rare to pass in this spot. Painful Quandary. Card that I think can be okay in the sideboard. Depends on the matchup. But we're playing best of 1, so it's not great here. I'm probably going to take Elsewhere Flask because it lets us splash combos with the Gurgling Anointer and is overall just a decent card. If we do pick up like a Corrupt, it's also quite good with that. We might be able to wheel either the Gixian Infiltrator or the Killzone Acrobat as well. So our deck's kind of coming together nicely here. We are lacking a little bit in terms of removal. That being said, we have some nice combos. Because we don't have removal, I'm kind of forced to make this sibling rivalry Killzone Acrobat combo work. So we'll see if we can get there with that. Ooh. Well, I did say we were missing removal. I'm going to probably just take Go for the Throat at this point. It is a card that's sometimes awkward in the format. Some of the things you really do need to kill are the big artifacts. That being said, sometimes it just kills like a Gaia's Courser or some other big creature, and then you're pretty happy with the mana efficiency. If that weren't here, Foundry Inspector has been a card that's been a little overwhelming, but sometimes it does let you just dump your entire hand, so it's probably what I would take over the Blitz Automaton. But yeah, we'll take Go for the Throat, keep going with that. Ooh, another Elsewhere Flask or a Scrapwork Rager. The thing is, if I take Elsewhere Flask, it basically means we're going to get to play Skystrike Officer on curve much more often. And it kind of just lets me splash whatever I want between the Springleaf Drum and the 2 Elsewhere Flasks. That's already kind of 3 sources. So if I open up a big bomb, I think that's just worth taking. And if I get past a Corrupt, then that would be a pretty big win as well. I am passing Scrapwork Rager, but I think that's okay. Well, there's the Corrupt. I think given I have the 2 Elsewhere Flasks, I think it is probably better than Overwhelming Remorse. I'm also going to play more Swamps than anything else. Like right now I'm probably going to play like 10 Swamps already. Especially if I'm, like, the only red card I'm splashing right now is Sibling Rivalry. So yeah, I think Corrupt is going to be great, and it also comes with the Flask. It's unfortunate that the Overwhelming Remorse is in the same pack, but what can you do? Okay, another good pack for us. Loran is pretty sick with Elsewhere Flask, because you can splash it off of the Elsewhere Flask, and then you get it back. But I think Trench Stalker might just be the pick, because we have all these cantripping artifacts. So it just comes down, it's a 4/5 that's just, like, I don't have that much beef right now. And this would still be on the splash. So I think I'm just going to take the Trench Stalker. If I had a little bit higher of the curve, I could dirtle around a bit more with the Loran, but I think we just need... Ooh, okay, paid off. Yeah, so we're going to play a lot of Swamps. I don't even have to play the Sibling Rivalry now that I have 2 Corrupts. I do think it's still probably good because I have the 2 Killzone Acrobats. Although it's starting to get a little bit worse because Corrupt doesn't ask anything of you other than play Swamps. Whereas Sibling Rivalry, like, it's good if you're aggressive or you have sacrifice outlets, and it's better with both. But we're not particularly aggressive right now. So you basically have to have the sacrifice outlets for it to be great. And we're not quite there yet. Alright, so this is between Scrapwork Cohort, which would just fill our curve nicely, or another Sibling Rivalry if we want to go more all in. I think I might wheel another Killzone Acrobat, but I'm going to take the Scrapwork Cohort, because the Acrobats just mean that I can probably play my first Sibling Rivalry already, and then I can be looking out for more. This card's just really, really good. It's just efficient rate, and we don't have much on that point of the curve right now. Not really interested in anything here. Our Plant Worker could be okay. I guess I'll pick it up right now over these other cards. I think Tocasia's Onulet is basically a better Power Plant Worker in my deck. Could take the Carrion Locust, but again, it's pretty aggressive, and our deck is not that aggressive, so I'm not that interested in that. Ooh, now here's some good stuff. Do I take the Pendragon Strongbow? I have Ichor Wellspring. It also combos with Sibling Rivalry. I think I do. Maybe a little bit more red if I do that. Ooh, Disenchant Wield? Why is this in the pack? The best green common. I haven't really seen much green this pack, honestly. Ooh, Urza also wheeled. Could be good. I'm probably not going to play an Urza, but it is possible. Okay, taking a moment to see what we have here. So Rootwire Amalgam. It does combo with Elsewhere Flask, because I can play it on 5 as a 5-mana 5/5, and then if I have the Elsewhere Flask, I can randomly just 15 him out of nowhere. That's pretty nice. Versus Heavyweight Demolisher, which is just an 8/6 menace. But I already have Platinum Angel. Yeah, I'm just going to take the Rootwire Amalgam. It's making this pick a lot better. We have 2 of those. Okay, so Scrapwork Mutt or Overwhelming Remorse are our options here. We do have the 2 Corrupts, so I don't need the Overwhelming Remorse as much, and Scrapwork Mutt is quite good. But I have a decent number of things to do on turn 2, so I think I'd rather just take the Overwhelming Remorse, and then maybe I can go face with my Corrupt. This card is, like, so much better than it looks. The fact that I'm, like, even considering taking it over the removal spell is interesting. I have 12 creatures. Kind of not getting there on the Springleaf Drum front. It's going to be not a great card most of the time. if we think about that in my deck, just like, I'm probably not going to play that unless I have like 15, 16 creatures at least. Pristine Talisman is pretty good given that I have all these 5-drops. It's either that or Thraxodemon. Thraxodemon can combo with the Ichor Wellspring, but we already have the 2 Killzone Acrobats. I think Pristine Talisman does enough here that I'm pretty happy taking it. It also just gains a life every turn, which is pretty annoying. Ooh, Swiftfoot Boots? Not a card I'd normally like to put in my deck, but when you have Broken Mythic Rares, it's pretty sweet. Like, the combo of Swiftfoot Boots plus Platinum Angel is, I think, too good to pass up. Disfigure is just very good. Normally, I think Swiftfoot Boots, like, you probably shouldn't take it and put in your deck, but when you have the combo, it can be worth it. Do I take Conscripted Infantry? I could take... Oh, if I take Tower Worker, I do have Tron. Maybe that's worth going for. I mean, I also just have a lot of 5-drops, so it's probably actually just the pick anyways. Tron isn't even that crazy in this set. Like, even if you get all 3 of them, it's only pretty good. It's not like you did it, but it is decent. Alright, Evolving Wilds is a good pickup. We're not aggressive enough for Mishra's Juggernaut, so I think we just take Heavyweight Demolisher in case we need another big finisher here. Same thing, we're not there. Wow, that's, I guess, green. No one's in green-white. We have quite a few ways to sacrifice, so I think the Gixian Infiltrator is going to be just a good card in the deck. Sardian Cliff Stomper combos with the Elsewhere Flask, but it's only a one-time shot, so I don't think it's particularly good. So the question is, do I want to Clay Revenant? I don't think it combos with my deck all that well. So I'll probably just take another Conscripted Infantry. It blocks pretty... Oh, I didn't even have one yet. It blocks pretty well and is pretty decent. Probably not going to play any of these. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know if we're quite getting there on these red cards. Again, no one, no one at our table is into the Power Stones in green, huh? Okay. Loran's Escape is another nice one with Platinum Angel. I could just cut all the red cards. I don't really need Sibling Rivalry to kill anything anymore when I have Overwhelming Remorse and 2 Corrupts. It makes the Heavyweight Demolisher worse if I cut all the red cards. Because then I probably don't want to play Mountains for the Unearth. That being said, I do have the 2 Elsewhere Flasks. So you just have to have Mountains on the one turn that you unearth it. Also, Heavyweight Demolisher is another great reason to have Swiftfoot Boots, because it's just an 8/6 menace out of nowhere. Killzone Acrobat. Still good with the Wellspring. But I'm thinking if I just cut like one of these and then these 2, then I think my deck just looks way more reasonable. Cut the Onulet. And then, obviously I'm not going to play 6 islands for a Skystrike Officer. I could play 1 Plains for the Scrapwork Cohort. Oh, I could also run Urza. Urza's pretty good in my deck. Triggers the draw 2 themes. Yeah, I probably should put Urza in my deck. Now the question is if I want Machine over Matter. Probably not. I could just shave a land. I have 2 Elsewhere Flasks and an Ichor Wellspring. So I'm pretty likely to hit my 3rd land drop, and then I have Talisman as basically an extra land on 3. So that's probably the way to do it. If I go... That gives me 11 black sources and 6 blue sources. I really want to play these on turn 3, so I'm going to hedge a little bit more on the blue side. Like, I probably only need 4 blue sources to play both of these. But because they're 3-drops and I want to get Skystrike Officer down on turn 3, I think it's like if I have 8 ways to cast them on turn 3, so that's pretty fantastic. But I still want a ton of swamps for my Corrupts. But because I have the Elsewhere Flasks, I can be a little bit greedier. Some of the times I can just use the Elsewhere Flask with Corrupt rather than actually play all swamps. So I think that's the best, that's the best of both worlds. I'm still going to get to like 4 swamps in play oftentimes anyways. The Elsewhere Flasks are a little stretched thin, but my main uses are Rootwire Amalgam, Heavyweight Demolisher, and Corrupts. So that's 4 cards, plus the random times where I want to splash on blue. Oh, I wanted to add a Plains, right? So maybe I should cut an island for a Plains. If I do that, then I still have 5... I have 7 ways to still cast these on turn 2. I think that's sufficient. I think the single planes adds a bit of value to my deck. Because again, I could unearth this off the Elsewhere Flask, but it's kind of stretching it thin, and I have an Evolving Wilds. So I think adding a planes doesn't actually hurt my deck too much. So yeah, pretty happy with that. I don't know if it's worth going for the whole Tron piece thing, but each is decent in my deck already. I could play a Disenchant also, but I don't think I really need to. 14 creatures, 3 removal spells, some good top end. Yeah, this deck looks pretty solid. I think I'm happy with how it turned out. So let's give it a go, shall we? Our hand is fine, but kind of awkward. I have some early plays, but I also have things that cost a bazillion mana. Like, having both 7 drops in the opening hand is not a great place to be. I think we just still play the Goring Warplow. Coastal Bulwark has been a card that's been pretty impressive from my opponents the last few days. Looks like they're setting up for... You know, I'm probably not going to attack. The reason is if they Stern a Lesson here into Mightstone's animation, I want the 1/1 on defense. I don't think I'm really winning from attacking with 1 power. But they did counter it, so now I think I will attack. And that's fine. They don't get to Surveil anymore, because that would just sit there and get annoying later on. I'm going to be in a little bit of trouble later on if they combo off with a Mightstone's animation. But if they Levitating Statue into Mightstone's animation, I didn't really have an answer for that anyways right now because of the Go for the Throat. So we'll see if that's what they're going to do. I am representing Overwhelming Remorse, so they might not even go for it right now. What's interesting is they also didn't Combat Courier here. So they have some instant they're holding up. So if I get my Trench Stalker countered, and then they untap and Mightstone's animation, that's going to turn this into a 6/6. What would the counter be? It'd be Urza's Rebuff, though, because otherwise they would have unearthed this and attacked. So I think I should just play this. The reason is Urza's Rebuff's just always going to be good against me. I have much as 7 drops in hand. Okay. Well, the Levitating Statue is a problem now. Only because they had the extra spell, too. Maybe this was the wrong thing to play, but I mean, because my hand is pretty mana clogged at this point, it's a bit of a problem. Yeah, this is why Go for the Throat is awkward sometimes. All the cards you actually care about are artifact creatures in some games. Kind of need to draw exactly Swamp. That's not a Swamp. Interesting they didn't animate with the statue. They might have another counter. Our deck has pretty expensive cards, so we're pretty weak to counter spells. Alright, just play that. At least that sets us up for hopefully a Platinum Angel in the future. Yeah, looks like they do have another counter, so we're going to be in massive trouble this game. Kind of nightmare matchup. could gain 5 life, go to 8. I guess that's what we should do. I guess I could have corrupted their creature, but... Go in face. Yeah. We were pretty sure they had that card, so... It was, not fated to be, as we say. We are a little bit more on the controlling side. So I think the Warpleft's still decent. If you are just interested in attacking, I think it definitely loses a lot of value. Ooh, hello. Alright, well, hopefully you don't kill it. In the plan. There are multiple spells that kill it. But if they don't have one... Yeah, that's unfortunate. Alright, I think we're going to just Tower Worker to try to set up a 5-4 here. Okay, this card has the Secret Reach. Mm-hmm. Alright, let's, I guess play a 5-4. See, it's like I had the 6 mana, and how impressive is a 5-4 even? I mean, it's pretty good on this board. But it's nothing special. I guess it's good they, like, at least they use their Obliterating Bolt already. Like, they might not be able to hit the Platinum Angel. And they use their Disenchant too, so hopefully they're out of stuff and the Platinum Angel just wins. That's pretty good. I don't need the planes this turn, so I'm going to tap like that. Hit for the 2. And then next turn, if we need to, we can crack the Osprey Flask and corrupt for 6. Also grows our Gixian Infiltrator, which is pretty sweet. I'm just going to block. What could they have here? They could have the +1/+0. That doesn't do it. They could have Whirling Strike. Whirling Strike's pretty good. I just have Corrupt, though, so I think it's fine to just block. Yeah, that was the most likely scenario. Kind of eats their whole turn at this point. And the Whirling Strike would be good later as well. And the only reason I would think about not blocking... Interesting. I think I'm just going to play the Corrupt for 7. The benefit of this, too, is if they want to get the Infiltrator out of the way, they'll use a removal spell on it. I think I'm going to hit the Blitz Automaton. No, I'm going to hit the Combat Thresher. And then now we kind of put them... I guess the only card that we really get them... like if they have another Obliterating Bolt, this plays really good. Why attack with this but not this? Some instant that's not a combat trick. Don't know the set well enough. I get really blown out if they have a trick. Oh, this is brutal. I mean, why would they make this play unless they had it? I guess I don't block? Okay, I could block next turn because I have to go for the throat. I kind of want to see what this trick is. Make 2 1/1s. Okay. Did I kill their flyer? I guess I still just killed their 2/4 here. P2 life? That's kind of costly. Okay, that makes sense. I was wondering what it was. Alright, again, hopefully if we're baiting the removal spell, then my Platinum Angel will live next turn. Alright. Well, just time to slam it. I was trying to buy as much time to draw Swift of Boots as possible. But we didn't quite get to that point. We don't have any 1-drops in our graveyard. I do have a 2-drop, so if I ever get there on the 2-drop front, that'll be nice. Ooh. Rock Hunter plus Combat Trick is pretty awkward for me. I think I'll just attack with both of these. And sacrifice the Scrapwork Cohort. I'm fine with them trading because it means they can't draw a Whirling Strike, or they can't use the Rock Hunter to block the Platinum Angel in the future. I'm fine with that too. Alright. Because now I still have a clock in the air. That's a good one. No reason to Scrapwork Cohort here. Alright, well. I am dead if they have a removal spell for Platinum Angel. Recommission. Not really any reason to block. Because it gives them another blocker here. Hit him for 3. I need to stop drawing so many lands. Alright, let's do that. Obviously not attack with Platinum Angel, that would be a problem. Jeez. I need a removal spell. Or Swift of Boots, that would end things. Is there any reason to block? I guess I can gain life. I mean, I'm all in on Platinum Angel at this point. So maybe there's no reason to block. The tension has never been higher, folks. On deck. No. No. I guess I only have one removal spell left and it's corrupt. That would just win me the game. I need to be able to draw another card is what I need. And I can start hitting with the Gurgling Anointer. Ooh, that's brutal. I guess that was a reason to not take the 3. I forgot about Pristine Talisman. Though I don't think gaining extra life is gonna matter. Oh, I could trade this for these 3. I should probably just wait to make it 15-15. Oh, well, 15-15 plan no longer in effect. Yes! Yes! Platinum Angel! Alright, well, that bought us a game we couldn't have won otherwise. That's pretty cool. It was definitely pretty great there. Alright, going first. Keeper-do. Very likely playing Elsewhere Flask on 2 to try to get Skystrike Officer into play on turn 3. Also just to hit land drops. It's going to be better than playing a Goring Warplow. Alright, deck. I'm going to need an untapped land here. I guess if I drew Nope. It doesn't even block this. Yeah, this card kind of sucks. Maybe I shouldn't be playing a Goring Warplow. Doesn't really do a lot, does it? No! That sucks. We could get under the Gixis Crest if I just drew a land. Well, what that tells me is they have removal for the Skystrike Officer, so that's kind of awkward. I think I'm still going to slam it, though. If I attack this turn and they trade, it turns on their Overwhelming Remorse with a land. That being said, Skystrike Officer... It doesn't, like, if it doesn't stay in play... If it only stays in play one turn to get a 1-1, that's not that great anyway, so I think I should still just attack. They might have not realized the Goring Warplow can't block. Evolving Wilds tapping for mana. Good times. Yep. Pretty awkward. Not gonna lie. They're almost to pumping territory on this Argothian Sprite too, which is gonna cause problems. Yeah, they're 1 away. Gonna have to find an answer, I think, for their 2-drop. Maybe after this game, I'm just gonna cut the Warplow. It's just been a horrible card. The fact that it can't trade with an Argothian Sprite is really quite bad. think we just get Urza down here. And then hold the Warplow back in case they can kill it. I want to be able to do this so that I can start looting into better cards. I can always loot away the Scrapboard Cohort and unearth it. Certainly seems like they're thinking about Disfigure. Definitely can't block with Urza because of Disfigure. The question is, do I trade my 1-1 for their 2-3? Probably not, because what if they play a giant creature here? I think just take the 4 damage. Ooh, that's a problem. So play the Killzone Acrobat, probably. We're kind of just... Yeah, we've been on the back foot. The Aeronaut's Wings is going to cause more problems. We're just kind of behind this whole time. But it is good we didn't block with this, because now at least I can trade with their 4-2. Although they can just Aeronaut's Wings it, so I guess that's not true. Kind of don't have a good answer to this. I'm looking at it. The type of thing where, like, if you're ahead the whole game, this card just looks incredible. It's also good at parity. But they have been ahead all game as we've struggled to hit our land drops and had awkward curve outs. That's a good one. This card has really overperformed. I think this card is, like, super good. We have no... I guess I can play Pristine Talisman to buy some... No, they just have this, plus this is lethal. I could play Tower Worker and Chump Block. I guess that's what we do. Not exactly great. I guess I could draw Platinum Angel. If I Chump Block into Platinum Angel, then maybe we could win. Like Platinum Angel and then Swiftfoot Boots and then win by them decking and having no answers. Yeah, I don't know. That's our out. The fact that there's an out at all is pretty sweet. Oh, I think we no longer have an out. In fact, we're just dead. Their deck's really good. Multiple Skyfisher Spiders. That card is so good. Alright, that's good. Alright, yeah, I think the Goring Warplow could be like any other card. It has pretty bad stats, and I think that's why. It just doesn't interact favorably with basically anything, and just trades down every time. The 5-4 part of it, I think if it was like a 5-5, then maybe. But 5-4 just like trades down with everything too. Can we play a better card? Let's find out. Disenchant could be okay on the splash. Another Killzone Acrobat could be okay. Only because it's pretty good with Ichor Wellspring. The problem is this card's pretty aggressive, so it's going to trade down a lot. Like, it's not actually good like on blocks. I know that kind of blocks a lot, which is pretty bad. I could also put in recommission as a way to bring back my good cards. Or just play Takasi's Amulet could be another good card that we could ramp into. We kind of have 2 different ways to ramp on 3 into 5. I kind of like that. Just have another good creature. It's kind of like the Warplow, but more impactful because of the Unearth. It comes down from the 6 mana earlier. We do have enough other things to do on 2, so I'm not too worried about not having this to play on 2. And it can help us, like, it's better with Urza because we can discard this and then get some value later on. I don't think it's a great upgrade. I think our last card is going to be kind of bad no matter what. But I think it is a big enough upgrade compared to these other, like, I think it's better enough than the Warplow. Ideally, we would be able to play something better overall. I don't know, maybe it could be, maybe I should be playing Disenchant. Also, I only have, what, 1 way to sacrifice the Ichor Wellspring? Like, maybe I shouldn't be playing Ichor Wellspring. Although I have Trench Stalker and Gurgling Anointer, so I think it's actually just good enough. Like, if I cut this and played a Disenchant and then added a Plains, maybe that's just better. Disenchant is really good. I have plenty of top end already, enough 5s. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Let's give that a try. Ooh, I could wait to crack the Evolving Wilds for my Gixian Infiltrator. I have 9 swamps. Or I could just get a 2-1 on board and trade it off, which powers up the Remorse. I guess waiting is pretty greedy. The upside to waiting also, though, is knowing if I want to crack for blue. Like if I draw the Patrol. But I do have 5 islands anyways. I think it's best to just get on board. The card is powerful. Probably going to require me to go for the Throat It, unfortunately. I think I just do it right now in case they have counterspells or a way to deal it damage. I don't know. Feels bad. I think that card was just gonna be a big problem, though. Alright. Yeah, we're in trouble. Perhaps... I don't know exactly what's wrong with this deck. I think it just is misguided. Like, my cards don't work well together. I'm pretty slow, but I don't have any resiliency. It's kind of an interesting... Like, I'm more interested in why this deck is bad than what's going on. Because I basically just haven't done anything in any game. Except for the one we won with Platinum Angel, which was sweet. So for my money, I'm just trying to figure out, like, why that's the case, you know? Yeah, that's pretty good. Ooh, that's really good. Good combo with Third Path Iconoclast. Basically just dead. Oh, I should... I guess I just messed up. I should have... Well, should have killed on my turn, but then I still just die. So there's no way actually to survive this. Technically, I could disenchant it now, but they have the sacrifice. Like, if I did it before or did it after, I was actually dead either way because of the way the damage works. Because they could sacrifice the soldiers after. Yeah, I think this deck was kind of just flawed. Well, that's alright. Some decks are bad, but I'm trying to think... As we went through the draft, I got removal. I got a lot of stuff, but... I was kind of headed towards, like, a sacrifice avenue that never really panned out. We got the corrupts. I mean, I did have some awkward draws, but I just have a lot of kind of underpowered cards as well. Bunch of cycling nonsense. I don't think the mine worker, tower worker, power plant worker really were worth playing. It's hard to say when that kind of thing happens because I think probably we definitely passed a lot of really good green cards. So maybe I could have been in green black instead. And there were some signs that green was open. Like if I had a bunch of the three, like I could have had 2 of the 3/2 that makes Power Stone when it comes into play. So if I had some of that, then maybe that would have panned out a little bit better. Yeah, so it might have just been misbuilding that, or misdrafting, that kind of thing. That would have helped charge up my 5 drops. I could have played this naturally. So if I had been more like green-black with the Elsewhere Flask, that might have been better. Hard to say. It's all in retrospect. But I think that's why this deck failed. It kind of just was a bunch of mid-range cards that didn't really play well one way or the other. And then I always started behind because I just had a bunch of dirtily things on 2 and not actual ways to interact with the board. And then a bunch of expensive things that rotted in my hand because... Yeah, so anyways, I guess lesson learned. I need to be definitely more streamlined like one way or the other and draft better, I guess. So hopefully you also learned from this and what not to do in draft. All right, cool. Well, I'll catch you in the next one.